Welcome to viseNvincent, a shortcut to a good time. I'm Cooper Vice.
And I'm Taylor Vincent.
Taylor, it has been a minute.
It has been a little bit longer than a minute, Mr. Vice. But
Would you say it's been a while?
It's been a while.
It certainly has. I would call this season 3 of viseNvincent.
Would that
seem
be
fair?
fair? That seems fair.
And our first season that did not air, as it were, in the spring.
Oh, you're right.
The first couple, we did 2017. Then we did 2019. Tuscaloosa was celebrating its bicentennial. We hung out with our friend Mr. Tuscaloosa, the founder of Tuscaloosa. We had a wonderful time.
That was a good time.
I hung out with him.
He's such a nice man.
He's very good. I mean, he's a nice enough guy that I hung out with him without you that one time, and we sampled some craft beer together.
Right. I'm glad y'all had a good
time.
Yeah.
It was a lovely time.
I'm sorry I couldn't make it.
Oh, we missed you a lot. And then, as I recall, we had an episode where we were talking about movie snacks because of Avengers Endgame.
Yes,
that was about to come out. And then we promptly did not record again for pretty much about 18 months.
Right. And I mean, I feel like that's pretty good.
No.
If we were a band putting out albums.
Oh, yeah. I mean,
this is good timing.
Yeah, when was U2's last album? And when was the last one before that? They take like 5, sometimes 10 years.
Yeah, so we're doing great.
18 months for 5 episodes of podcast.
Exactly.
I put that into my calculator and make a smiley face.
I've never heard of that happening, but I like it.
But
I used to do with the calculator it may not be appropriate for the airwaves.
Are we talking about kind of an 8008? Yeah. Let's get that. Yeah, that was a high five you just heard. I will say that I kind of have a story about why we haven't been able to record earlier. Because, of course, we needed this microphone. It's our lucky microphone.
Of course.
I essentially got it so that we could do this podcast, because before I was renting that one from the Digital Media Center at the University of Alabama, a school from which both of us have graduated since you last heard our voices.
That is true.
We are now alumni. And I got this microphone, and we used it for season 2. And then I took it to work with me. I worked at a radio station on campus. I had this microphone there at the office for testing purposes, testing the mixers, and determining, hey, do we want 4 of these things for our podcasting unit that we were building? And anyway, on March 12th, 2020, I left the Digital Media Center thinking that I would probably be back as a student, maybe. I knew at that point that we were going to be having a longer spring break due to the COVID-19 novel coronavirus, but I was thinking, well, there's no way this can last so long that we won't at least come back to school for a couple months.
I think a lot of people were thinking
that too. And so I did not return as a student. And then I finished my courses in May. I technically graduated all online. I graduated in August. And thank you. And congratulations on your December graduation as well.
Thank you.
Eventually, not immediately in quarantine, because obviously there are bigger fish to fry and all that, but I would say around the summer I got that podcasting itch.
I would say I got it as well, but I don't think either one of us were vocal about it.
No, yeah, we had a fever and the only prescription was more podcasting.
And I guess without us talking to each other about it, we just continued to listen to podcasts.
Yes, yeah, we listened to all of our favorites. Guys We Fucked, Collar Daddy,
Let Us Gather Together.
Of course, the Joe Rogan Experience.
That is the best one.
Yeah, that's our favorite. And so I was satisfying my podcasting urges that way, but I did reach out to people at the radio station that I was working, and I sent a very kind email saying, hey, I left my microphone at the office back in March, and I have since returned all of the equipment that I was kind of holding on to during quarantine. I gave you back the very expensive hard drive. Do you think there's any way that I could either come pick up the microphone, or better yet, could you mail it to me or something like that?
Now, when you hit send, Cooper, what was going through your mind?
I was thinking that I was going to get my microphone back.
Naturally.
And I did receive a package from from the radio station about a week later, and I was like, oh wow, this is this is a really small package. I don't think this is my microphone. I opened it up, and they had mailed me a single bullet.
Oh
like,
my gosh.
like from a gun.
Oh man.
Yeah. And so I took that the only way that I thought I could, which was as a threat.
Right.
Because, I mean, do you think I interpreted that incorrectly? Do you think...
I mean, if I received a bullet in the mail, I would be very scared.
Very scary. And so I was like, all right, well, I'm not getting this thing back.
Yeah, I guess not.
And so I started shopping again. I was window shopping, like thinking, I'm time to get me a new microphone because the old one is not a part of my life anymore.
No, it's not.
But thankfully, friend, not of the show, but she hasn't been on yet, but friend to us, sister to you, your sister Caroline, my friend Caroline, bravely plumbed the depths of the Digital Media Center last week and grabbed my microphone from the clutches of whatever.
The safe.
The safe.
That was locked away.
She dropped down into the room where the microphone was being kept, where all the lasers were kind of splayed about.
But she did, if I remember correctly, when she told the story, there was a sign on the safe that said, "Things we keep from students who worked here."
Yes, this was clearly not a unique case. There was, I think she mentioned that there was insulin in there. A student's insulin was being held.
Oh my gosh!
It seemed very petty to me.
Yeah.
There's I understand the microphone.
Yeah, that's some value.
They could see some use at a radio station, but insulin, I mean, that's just very specific and clearly not being used because it was in the vase.
Yeah.
But she did descend from the grate above inside the
just
climate controlled. Yeah, and she did. There was a bead of sweat dripping down her nose that almost did fall onto the safe, which would have activated the alarms. But thankfully, she kind of willed the sweat drop. What does he do? Does he will it to not? He catches. I was thinking maybe he just
hits his hand.
Yes,
and he's wearing cool gloves.
I was thinking maybe he concentrated really hard and made the drop not fall.
That would have been cooler.
But that
if we would have if that movie knew how cool it was going to be, but wanted to be cooler, I think if you'd have just seen Tom Cruise's face concentrate really hard and that sweat go into his skin,
it goes back into
where
his pores.
It came from.
That feels like something that would happen in the modern Mission Impossible movies, where Ethan Hunt is basically like a superhero who can clinch to the sides of airplanes and stuff.
Right.
It's kind of like, can you imagine if Dom Toretto from the Fast and Furious films had the abilities of Fate of the Furious Dom Toretto in the first movie, when he's sort of just a simple, strong racing man who doesn't he has not yet thrown the rock through 50 ramshackle houses in South America.
He has not driven through several stories, but 3 different buildings.
Yes, exactly.
Put together in Dubai.
It would just be wild to see his late game abilities in those early films, which were a little more grounded.
But I guess that's what you make. That's what makes you appreciate later.
Exactly,
movies, in all series.
Yeah, it's the climb. Right. That starting in a very grounded place and then becoming ridiculous. I mean, I didn't. Oh gosh, who's the actress that plays Letty? What's her name? I always forget. They are so. They're so horrible about the women on that series, and I feel bad because it reflects into my knowledge of them, because I can tell you all the dudes, but they, and that's a problem with Mission Impossible as well, where they'll have an actress in a movie and then she'll disappear for 3 and then she'll be back, and it's was she even gone?
Kind of a James Bondy feel too.
Exactly, yeah. And that's probably a bigger issue of action films in general that might need to be examined. That's not something we're going to solve here at viseNvincent.
Yeah, no, that's a whole nother.
But that actress, the actress who plays Letty, the now wife, I think, of Dominic Toretto, did they get married? I think they're married now after her stint with Amnesia.
I'll be honest with you, any romantic scene I see in that movie, I forget right after it happens.
Right, you have to make room for more cars.
Yeah, I only have room in my head for so many action scenes.
Yeah.
There's no room for romance.
Yes.
I do have a wife now. Just romance just has no place.
Yes, that is the wife of it all is something that I'm going to get to in just a moment. But let's finish this brief sojourn into Fast and Furious territory, which is that
course.
I believe it has been implied by the actress who plays Michelle Rodriguez. I got it.
You got it.
Michelle Rodriguez, apologies to Michelle, has implied that Dom and the crew are going to space.
Yeah.
Either in Fast 9, the one that was due to come out this spring and then got delayed, or
Which will
in...
be pretty cool. I mean, it is the only other thing they have yet to do.
Like what else is there? It's either like a time travel thing.
Yeah, which would also be cool. Maybe that's Fast 10. That would be fun.
Yeah, that's Fast 10, and then Fast 11.
They're so fast they go back in time.
Yeah, I mean, it's easy. Hit 88 or whatever,
right.
And then they're back in time. They've hit speeds
so fast.
Threefold 88 in
just with
simple
just
cars.
with one NOS can.
Exactly. I don't even remember what my original point was with all of that.
Because you got sidetracked from Mission Impossible because Caroline was getting the microphone.
Oh, yes, of course. Thank you.
No problem.
Caroline got the mic back, and here we are.
Yeah, now we're recording again.
That's the end of that story. And we're recording again, and there have been some pretty big changes since May of 2019, whenever we last sat down. You got married.
I did.
I got divorced.
You did. I was sad to see her go.
I wasn't. Second high five.
Hey, happy to watch her leave, though.
Yeah. I wish you would not talk about my ex-wife like that, but I will grant you that one because you were always very polite to her when we were married.
Thank you.
And speaking of married, speaking of wives, how's your wife?
My wife is very good. We have been together now for 10 months and a few days.
Mm-hmm.
The wedding was beautiful.
It was. I was in it.
You were? You looked sharp. All the men looked sharp.
Thank you. You honor me.
It was a great time. I truly recommend. I mean, I don't know if any of our listeners are about to get married or thinking about getting married soon, but whatever you do, just spend the money on an open bar. Just do it. Bite that bullet. I mean, it is the most expensive part of a wedding, but it makes for a great time.
Mm-hmm.
I think, now that I've also been to several weddings as a guest and having had my own wedding, having an open bar is just the game changer.
Oh, it was great.
And the whole time.
Do you know what I consumed at your wedding reception?
I don't know what anyone consumed. I was in my own world.
I would imagine. I had one roast beef sandwich, some kind of roast shaved beef thing.
It was really good. I remember doing our selections for the food menu for the reception, and that was a lot of fun because you got to taste basically everything and go from there. Anyway,
I had one roast beef sandwich, I had 0 dessert, and I had anywhere from 8 to 12 mixed beverages.
Nice.
And I can't imagine doing it any other way.
And as I recall from stories told to me since the wedding, the bartenders were making them somewhat strongly.
They were pretty strong. It was so really you could probably say I essentially had anywhere from 16 to 18 regular. Right. That math, I think that about shakes out.
I don't know what it is about wedding bartenders, man. I feel like they all kind of make them strong.
They're on one, and God love them. They're the real essential personnel.
I would agree with that.
Mm-hmm. So married life's treating you good?
It is. We everything happened pretty fast. Not to be cliche, but you said you left Tuscaloosa March 12th.
Yes.
That's around the same time we left Tuscaloosa. Mm-hmm. So we got married December 27th of 2019, and we went on our honeymoon in Asheville, North Carolina, and came back to Tuscaloosa and our house that we rented off of Orange Street.
Mm-hmm.
And basically, once we got back, not in any way, shape, or form hatred on Tuscaloosa. We love Tuscaloosa. That's where we started. But we kind of wanted to, get out and start our lives, because it kind of just felt like we had our wedding and then I moved in with her. It didn't feel like we kind of start, you know what I mean?
No, absolutely, yeah.
And so we started looking for places, and I was looking for a job, and I got a job in Hoover in Birmingham, and so we started looking in the Birmingham area, and one thing led to another, and we found a house that is about 5 minutes away from the house I grew up in.
Yeah.
Coincidentally enough.
And maybe 2.5 minutes away from my parents' home.
Yeah, which is even crazy.
Yeah, wild.
And so we moved, and we, I guess that was it. We moved, we got married, we moved, and then everything shut down.
Yes.
And then we also got a dog.
Yeah, who's the pitter-patter of his feet, I think listeners can probably hear going up and down the halls as we record.
Yes, he likes to chase our kitty cat.
Ah, yes, Magnolia.
Yes. So, it's been a great 10 months, and I recommend marriage to a friend.
Great. I plan on doing it again soon.
Good.
By the end of the year.
Good.
If possible. I think I'll get married on December 27th, 2020.
That would be cool. I mean, we share anniversaries. We could go on like double date anniversaries.
That would be so fun, just the four of us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I do hope you tell me about whoever she is before the listeners find out. I don't really like to find these things out on air.
I know. I'm sorry. I
did forget about your divorce, and then you brought it back up on air.
Yeah. Hey, I try to forget.
I bet you do. She was very nice while you were together, but yes, as we were.
Things fell apart real quick.
They really did. As we heard on our favorite podcast, Let's Gather Together, marriage brings out the best. It also brings out the worst, and the worst was brought out in the vices. And
yeah, that's true.
So I hope to see some new vices December 27th, 2020.
Good. Yeah, I heard a piece of wisdom from a man recently. He was my car broke down.
Where?
Near the bank of
the bank.
Near the bank of a large lake.
Oh, like the bank of a river.
Yes,
sort of
yeah.
Right.
On the shore of a lake.
What lake? There's only a few of them around here.
Lake Forest.
Oh, right. Okay.
The one in my parents' neighborhood.
Right. The one you could probably more say it's a pond, but
it's very small, but it is the titular Lake Forest, and I don't know why my car was down there, because I usually just walk to the lake if I'm going down.
Maybe one of your siblings stole it.
Yeah, I can't remember. It was already a couple days ago, and my memory has gotten pretty bad recently. But he was out by the water. He was fishing.
Okay.
And I approached him and asked him if he had driven here and if he had any like tools in his car that I could use to try to fix the transmission, which I quickly deemed to be the issue with my automobile.
Right. You are a car expert.
I'm a bit of a gearhead, yeah. But I had left my tools at home because I was working on my brother's car, and I never put it back in the trunk of my own vehicle. Which is you only make a mistake like that once.
Right.
Anyway, I asked him if he had some spare tools. He did not, but he did offer me this piece of wisdom, which you could say is a tool in a different kind of way. Yeah, the absence of help is kind of one of the greatest tools that somebody can give. Anyway, he said, I don't have any tools, but I have these words. And he said, there are 2 reasons for a man to fish. Either because he does not have a wife, or because he does. And I said, I said, wow, that's kind of hateful and rude to I guess the idea of wives. I mean, it's, I guess, half sweet, but then half kind of mean.
Did he say, sorry, I already forgot what you said.
He said there.
Did he say because you have a wife or because you're married?
Either 2 reasons to fit. There are 2, here, let me get it clear. There are 2 reasons for a man to fish. And he took a long pause. Right. I would say easily 10 seconds, which doesn't feel like a lot, but when you're talking to somebody...
No, that's a long time. That's eternity.
Yeah. Took a 10-second pause. Either because he does not have a wife, or because he does.
Okay.
Yeah, personally, I find the beginning of that either because he does not have a wife. That's a little clunky to me.
It is
I
a
would
little
think
clunky.
I would think of maybe an easier way to say that, but I'm telling it to you verbatim. That's
Right?
how he
Yeah.
said it.
You got to hold on to it the way it is.
Yes.
Because I mean, I don't want to spoil anything, but once I heard this story before we were podcasting, I did think about putting that on a cross stitch for you for Christmas.
Oh, that would be so kind. I would love that. Still feel free to do that. I'm hoping to build kind of a cross-stitch wall with just a bunch
that'd be
of
fun.
phrases that I've heard from the mysterious people I encounter on the banks of Lake
can't
Forest.
help you.
Who cannot help me in any way that I would actually appreciate, but can instead give me some strange, outdated aphorisms about hating your wife.
Not mine, but
No,
like
not
the general your.
Yes.
That would be strange if you knew Renee, though.
hating one's wife. It would be
Yes.
weird if you knew Renee. I mean, you guys walk around that lake pretty frequently.
Well, that's true.
But
we usually do it when there are not a lot of people around.
yes. So that'd be pretty odd.
Right.
Taylor, what are some other things that we usually talk about on this show? It's been so long that...
Well, remember we did start out this podcast wanting to watch Disney movies.
Disney movies, yes.
That quickly fell apart.
People for months came up to me or they did not come up to me, that would be insane, but they would ask me on, either on text or on Facebook Messenger or on GroupMe or Twitter DM or on Instagram DM or on email or
AOL Messenger.
AOL Messenger. They would say, "Hey, how's the Disney podcast going?" And I would say, "You moron.
It's not a Disney podcast.
It's not a Disney podcast. It is a podcast in which a central tenet of the first 2 episodes of the podcast were us watching Disney movies." Yeah, we started that in spring 2017. It is now fall.
I do not know where we are.
I think
we
watched
Peter
Pan.
Pan.
We were due to watch, I believe that means The Lady and the Tramp.
Yeah, that sounds right.
And we have not done that. We watched Peter Pan sometime in the past
Like last year?
year or so.
I'm not sure.
Because it was in the house we moved into after.
But that could be something we follow up on.
Yeah.
But it's certainly not something we have followed up on.
No,
but
we've been.
I just wanted to produce. You asked me a question. Yeah, the
No,
answer
yeah.
was one of the things we talked about was Disney, but
We talked
we
about
have yet to
we talked about Disney.
finish that endeavor.
Yeah, we talked about Disney. We talked about the Baltimore Ravens.
We do love the Baltimore Ravens.
Yeah.
This season, I have not kept up with them.
Nope.
Because COVID sports aren't fun.
No, I was not keeping up with them when we were talking about them because I didn't really know much about NFL, and I still don't really know all that much about NFL.
Well, just know this. Everyone gets injured more easily now because they didn't have as much training because of COVID.
Yeah.
And so now they're trying to play like they would any other year, and they get hit, and they go down.
Foolhardy.
And they get really angry
Yeah.
that they're getting injured. But that's... Your body is... This is an aphorism I've heard from a man at Lake Forest. May or may not be the same guy. I don't think I've ever...
Could be.
I haven't met a guy who you've described, but he told me that your body is only as good as the weakest link, and those NFL players...
Once again, a very shoddily phrased sentiment.
Yeah, right?
That also could have used a second or even third pass on it. Could you say that one again, please?
It was, your body is only as good as the weakest link.
Yeah, that...
And it didn't really make sense
No,
at
it
the
doesn't
time.
really make sense.
But once
But
I saw the NFL COVID season start to play out, I knew exactly what he meant.
Clarity.
Time heals all wounds.
That one tracks. That one is pretty much like I get what that one's saying.
Right.
But your body is only as good as its weakest link, like its weakest bone, like its weakest ligament, like
we can...
foot.
No pun intended. We can flesh that out later.
Your body is only good as its weakest flesh.
Now that works.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Take that one to the bank.
You know, Cooper, something that I have been keeping up with. You said we haven't been keeping up with the NFL all that much, or Disney, or things like that. But something that I love keeping up with these days are the Thompson Warriors.
They're killing it.
I went to Thompson.
So did I.
From 4th grade until 12th grade.
I guess I went to Thompson from 4th grade to 12th grade. I was in the Shelby County and then Alabaster City school system the entire time, but I guess we did start at a school called Thompson the same year.
That's true. I didn't even think about that.
Yeah, neither did I, because it doesn't really matter in any meaningful way.
But during that time, there was never a moment where the varsity Thompson High School football team was in any way, shape, or form better than average.
We were the perennial underdogs.
And something I always tell people who I meet who did not go to Thompson, if it comes up that our senior year, we were 0-10 as far as victories were concerned.
And you're not saying that backwards by mistake.
No. We lost every game. But we've moved back to Alabaster, and we have been doing great. I said I was keeping up. I don't know the record that we have right now.
It's however many games we've played, that's how many we've won.
But, we're undefeated.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Even better. Mm-hmm. So, the Warriors are doing great.
We're like, I think the Thompson Warriors are like number 5 in the nation or something like that.
It's pretty insane.
Like insanely good, yeah.
Despite me being 23 years old, I feel very much like an adult. Moving to the town I grew up in, owning a home, and talking about my high school team and how well they're doing to people when we may not have even been in the same grade, or they might not even have been to Thompson, but we live in Alabaster, and dang it, I care about my local team.
Yeah. Red alert.
Red alert. Go Warriors.
Cool. Well, we'll keep everybody up to date on the Warriors season as it progresses. The Alabama Crimson Tide are also doing pretty well.
They are indeed. Despite an injury last week.
Yeah,
or a week and a half ago, or a few weeks ago.
Yeah, a few weeks ago.
From Jalen Waddle, unfortunately.
Yeah.
But something about this team, it seems a little special, and I think we'll be able to move forward despite Waddle's injury. And
of course, your beloved Los Angeles Lakers have won the NBA Finals. You were repping your jersey just the other day. Yeah, it's a surreal feeling. Yeah, LeBron did it. He did. Him and AD. That's a power couple right there. They are, and he really is just kind of a championship guy everywhere he goes. Yes, he's he keeps winning them, and he's gonna be in Space Jam 2. Indeed. Yeah, whenever that comes out. I think next year. Do you think that'll be in theaters? I think that's the idea. That it seems like a massive thing that Warner Brothers is trying to do, because the idea, it's been leaked, is that LeBron James and his son, and I don't think it's his actual son, I believe it's an actor playing his son, like a fictional son, I think, because he has real children. Right. I don't think this character is one of them. They find themselves in not just the world of the Looney Tunes, but in the world of the collected Warner Brothers, media. Oh. It's like Warner Brothers world, basically. Okay. So, they're meeting, I think, The Mask. I literally, that's not a joke. I think they're meeting The Mask, and they're meeting, who else? Voldemort, I believe. Oh. Yes. Okay. And, I think Jared Leto's Joker. Oh. Yeah. This is all interesting. Yeah, and I've said a lot of fake things on this show. And that's not one of them. No. I did get caught. Our friend Charles, a couple weeks ago, did remind me that I had said that I had met Matthew Lillard on a flight last year when I went to Las Vegas. And that did not happen. Right. Sorry to... Anyone who's under the impression that was a serious thing Cooper said. Sorry to drop the facade a year and a half later. Right. That's kind of the time frame of these jokes, We have a fun time on this podcast, but if something actually does not happen,
you have to bring it up with us a year and a half later and ask. That's when we answer those kinds of questions.
Exactly.
Yeah, a year from now, we'll put out on the internet maybe a Q&A forum, and a few podcasts later, maybe we'll answer those.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, just to clear the air, I did not meet Matthew Lillard on a flight to Las Vegas last year. I met him on a flight to Seattle 2 years ago. And I think that'll just about do it for this episode of Vice and Vincent. Any parting sentiments, Taylor?
A shameless plug for the podcast Let Us Gather Together. It's just very good. It's helped me throughout the quarantine. Really have a community without getting around people, because we haven't been allowed to do that due to the novel coronavirus. So Let Us Gather Together, a great podcast.
And I am going to plug the probably that new Animaniacs that's coming out later this month.
Okay.
Yeah, they brought all the original cast back. The animation looks pretty good. Seems like they're doing what they do best and kind of holding a satirical light to the celebrities of the day.
That's fun.
Yeah, that's my plug.
Cool. For these and all things, we podcast in his name.
Amen. I've been Cooper.
And I'm Taylor.
And this has been Vice and Vincent, a shortcut to a good time. Have a good night.